at this Holy Thursday liturgy. We have a lot of different elements. We have the washing of the feet that we'll be doing right after this homily. And I invite all of you who would like to participate. We have seats on the altar. I'll be alternating from one side to the other, and as many people want to come up, if there's an open seat, please have a seat, and we'll wash feet as a symbol and a sign of the ministry to each other and to the world that Jesus gave us. So we have the image of the washing of the feet. And traditionally we'd have the Chrism Mass on Thursday, but the bishop moved it to last week. And the Chrism is given out to all the parishes in the archdiocese so that the oils can be used for baptisms and confirmation at the Easter Vigil. And then Holy Thursday, we talk about the institution of the Eucharist. And it's a special day in which we celebrate the Eucharist that we share. The idea that Jesus, at the Last Supper, gave us a way to remember him through the bread and the wine as the body and the blood of Christ. And then in the special Mass on Holy Thursday, we also, at the end, have a special procession with the reserved Eucharist. And we'll march through the church, and we've got the altar of repose ready there for the Eucharist. And this evening, there are folks from St. Patrick's, I think, or St. Michael's, I forget which church, but they're doing a seven church pilgrimage. We used to do that in Chicago when I lived there on Holy Thursday night. You go and visit the altars of repose at the 7 different churches. And then we go for ice cream before midnight, before the fast of Good Friday started. The pilgrimage today, they're doing, St. Patrick's, St. Michael's, ourselves, and the cathedral, and they're repeating us twice to get 7 churches in. But the altar will be there in repose. The bulletin says till 9:30, but the pilgrimage, the visitation will be here till 10:30 for any of you so inclined to come at that time. But there's a lot of these elements. And then the special Triduum, we've got Good Friday, where we have the Passion read again of the death of the suffering and death of Jesus, and then the veneration of the cross and the empty altar, because we don't celebrate Mass on Good Friday. And then the candles and the lights and the sounds of Easter Vigil. There's so many symbols, there's so many different elements that we recall each year, and it becomes for us this great celebration of the Triduum, the Easter celebration. When I did my studies in educational administration, my thesis, my dissertation, was on the charism of Holy Cross. How is it that schools, maintain this presence of Holy Cross priests and brothers in their school, even if there weren't any Holy Cross priests or brothers left there anymore? How did the schools continue to be Holy Cross? That was my dissertation. I got copies if you want to read them. But I looked at 2 schools in the East Coast, 2 schools in the West Coast, one of which on either coast had brothers still working there in the school. And of course, if you ask the people, is this a Holy Cross school? They'd say, oh yeah. Well, why is that? Well, we got brother. We have Brother Jim, Brother Fred. We got all these brothers here. It's a Holy Cross school. But then when I went to the 2 schools on either coast that have not had brothers in them for many, many years, I'd say, well, are you a Holy Cross school? Well, yeah, we are. How are you a Holy Cross school? And they would point to so many elements in their school. Well, we've got the statue of Andre over here. We have Father Moreau over there. We've got the Holy Cross values and virtues that we preach on and talk about every week. Everybody knows about the charism of Holy Cross because we go out of our way to purposely teach it. And if you ever bother read it. It's not worth reading, but I'll tell you the end. The schools that haven't had brothers in them were actually better at Holy Cross, promoting the charism and the identity of Holy Cross, because they were really working at it. They weren't just saying, oh, there's the brother. Of course it's a Holy Cross school. Look at the Holy Cross priest who says Mass every week. They really worked at it. We have to work at it. Here at St. Andre Bessette, I'd like to think that we're working at it. When I first came here, we did service. That's what we've done. Traditionally, that's what we've always done. Whether it was called the Downtown Chapel or St. Vincent de Paul, sorry Vincent, or now St. Andre Bessette, we have done service to the poor. We have been doing what symbolically we do with the washing of the feet each Holy Thursday. We feed the hungry, we clothe those who need of clothing. We do what we can to assist our brothers and sisters in need. But I can tell you, people in line say, what is this place? And they had no idea. So if you've noticed, one of the things I've done, here is try to some people don't like this word, churchify the place, to let people know what we're about. And so we have a crucifix in the front lobby. We've got the statue of Mary, which used to be over here. We moved her into the lobby so people can see. So we have, still on the plans, an idea to get the bell working again, to build a bell tower so that people can hear that this is a church. It's important not just to do the ministry, but to tell people why you're doing the ministry. Not to convert them, although that would be wonderful, but to let people know about what we know, Jesus. To let people know that we're doing this because we are Christian, we are Catholic, that our ministry, meager as it is in the light of all the problems of the world, but we're trying to do what we can do in our little corner on 6th and Burnside to somehow wash feet, to somehow proclaim. So if someone did a dissertation on us, are we Catholic? Are we Holy Cross? Do we do the works of the Lord? Do we participate in the life of the church? I hope the answer is yes to each of those. I hope that what we do as a church community, no matter how small, is that we wash feet, we feed, we clothe, we show movies. We do what we can to help other folks, because we are Christians, we are followers of Christ. That's what we devote ourselves to. That's what we dedicate ourselves to. As we continue our celebration today, I invite you to come and have your feet washed, to somehow participate in, to live out the symbol of our Lord Jesus Christ's example to us, to serve others, and to do it because we follow Christ.